So, while I'm here, this is a little bit inconveniently placed, isn't it? I was thinking of sticking a mine on top of this. Let's just do a Mark 1, probably. It's only a normal, but we're not dealing in high quantities here. Why are you getting low on things? I haven't forgotten to... Well, you're a lift Mark 1, of course. I'm so silly. I upgraded the belt. I think I realized the belt was wrong and then upgraded that. And completely missed the fact that I needed to actually do the other thing. Anyway, is there another way I can deal with what silica can be? I had a feeling that silica actually converted better, but raw, or the quartz crystals is a way to get rid of more of it, I think. So if we have... Let's just get rid of some of this for now. Just have a bunch of quartz on us for the time being. You can trickle along, that's fine for the time being. Production constructor, let me just go. One there. One there. Lifter. That way with a splitter on top. Coming from that direction. This way, facing that way. Do that. Splitter. Off back here, coming up, facing that way to go over the power line. Go over here. There you go. Only need to be Mark 1, technically. Yeah, leave it as Mark 1, that's fine. 75, you're being fed properly at least. Yes, good. So you can be the quartz guy. That's fine. You can do silica. Let's get you started. First, actually, let's go like this and go, you have 50, you have 69. Half funny number. You are actually a Mark 2 anyway, but let's just do that. You get rid of that. You have a lifter going off this direction with a merger going that way. So you're producing 50, so we're going to need at least a Mark 2 going this way. Are you a lifter Mark 2? No, you're a lifter Mark 1. How lazy of me. Mark 2. There we go. And then we can have you coming up here and just facing that way and doing that. There we go. That's fine. And then we can do basically the same thing over here as well if we want to and feed it all until we've got another slot on that merger. So we can do it all over again. I'm going to be going through a mine. Whatever. Don't care. It's just funny. And we want to have 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to have a Mark II lift coming over here with a splitter going that way. So then we can go Mark 1, Mark 1, power lines coming down here. Fire you up. You're actually... I'll leave you dedicated to what you're doing there. Bring you across here and then here. It's going to look funny, but it is what it is. There and... Oops. Not a power pole on top of the damn thing, just power the constructor. Okay. There. Now. Silica. Oh, I need to overclock each of these though, don't I? Maybe we don't bother with that just yet. What's 22.5 times 2? 45, 45, 45, so we only need 90. Yeah, 90. Whatever. Just can't be bothered. Not right now. Not until they have more power shards handy. I think the key point a lot of the time is you actually underclock things to do all of this, and you put more buildings down, but you underclock them all. With the idea that that actually works out pretty much the same. I need a room to count how many times up I go. Like 4, I think. Then we have mergers on... Oh, wrong way, I think. Merger facing that way, merger facing that way. Let's just run them all on together. And we're going to have Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 1. What do I even need? I need this to be something significantly more now. Let's just make that a Mark 4, just for funsies. Yeah, you're a Mark 4. You're going to be a Mark 5 now. Because I think you might need to be. Mark 4, from there, into there, goodbye. Not collecting any of you, I don't care. Cool. I mean, that was pretty simple to set up, wasn't it? Alright, let's... Oh, there's this one up here as well, but this was impure, which, I mean, isn't worthless. That would give me 60 with a Mark II. It's something. But at that point, it starts to be kind of diminishing returns. You need to overclock the input, pretty much, to be able to make anything out of it. I just don't think that's worthwhile. Alright, let's just grab that excess rubber, because why not? And I should have some, like, plastic and stuff up here, too. Oh yeah, rubber and plastic, there we go. Yeah, you're not getting clogged up or anything, no one's running out, no one's getting clogged up. Like, it doesn't seem like much. Like, maybe it's not really worth much effort. But I figure I'm killing time anyway, because I only have so many things that I can actually do to tinker while my current, like, big ticket items get processed. And it's kind of that mentality of every little bit accumulated over time helps. Like, if I was doing a lot of this earlier, I'd probably be done by now and already have my 1,000 coupons. I wasn't syncing things because I kind of felt that it seemed a bit silly in many respects. Right, supercomputers, first priority. You're in here now. Almost forgot that I'd redirected them. Computers, that whole excess can come with me to make sure that we don't run out up here. So our baseline is now 5.5 million, and then 7.9 million is what it peaks to, which I feel that is slightly more than it used to be. There's a power slug. I'm going to start harvesting some more of you guys, because I think I should, in case I want to do more works that need power shards. Nighttime's a good time to go around collecting power slugs as well, because they glow. You keep stopping, interestingly. What are you producing? You're producing 60 per minute. You're producing 60 per minute. Am I not using the full 120? What's going on? Why are you stopping all the time? You're Mark II, so we've got 60 and 60. You're Mark II. You're a merger, yep, just in case I somehow put a splitter down. You're definitely a merger. So why is a Mark II not... Why is this not going anywhere? What are you doing? Because there's a gap. Oh, did I put you down in such a way that you never connected up? Is that what we've got going on here? Hey, Daytopper. Quick game break, check on the build. Belts all maxed. Yeah. I've had so many problems with belts and putting the wrong numbers down. Now, once again, this is one of those things that's been around for so long. And the only reason I haven't noticed is because my production would have backed all the way up anyway. Like, I've had my pipes and beams at the other end. All of my steel has been backed up, which means that I haven't noticed a shortage. But that's been like that for hours. In-game weeks, in fact. I'm finding all of these little problems that I never knew I had. Now this is coming through nicely. So funny. Been so long since I played this. Windows so keybind lost. Oh yeah, I'm always getting confused because certain games Q is different things. Like Q is build in this, but Q is deconstruct, I'm fairly sure, in Subnautica, for example. And then F is deconstruct in this, when it's interact in other games. Like, can we not just settle on a standard, please? Just survival game developers. please talk to each other. I know you can rebind things. At least I think you can rebind things. But I just, yeah. I try and go with what the game teaches me and then get confused all the time when I swap between games. I just don't like the idea of having to rebind things every single game. Bind it through another program. Yeah, that's the other thing, is some people use third-party tools to rebind things. I really can't be bothered with that. Right, ma'am. What do we got? Oh, we're getting... There we go. The inventory slots. So finally we're running through things. Interesting. Ultimate polymer resin. So that's to make primary polymer resin instead of as a byproduct. Interesting. If you just want to make fabric. Alright, I'll take it. So we must be running low on recipes now. That's interesting. So we've got 16 more protein here. Right, that'll jump up a little bit more. Okay, not actually all that much more, because we're now at the stage of needing so many more DNA points. We kind of hit the diminishing returns, I think, on the whole alien protein thing. We don't have a way to harvest them. I wish farming was in the game, right? That would be kind of fun if you could do, like, greenhouses in order to grow, like, wood and leaves to make biofuel. So you could actually make biofuel as an ongoing cycle instead of just harvesting things in the world. That would be fun. And like a farming sort of thing for certain animals. That would be interesting. Like if as part of the research of the protein, you also learned how to like have them in captivity. Just a few interesting things that could add a little bit of something to the game. Because why not? So our base rate should increase a little bit since we're funneling in all of these steel products. It's not really shifting much, is it? Shows how inconsequential all of the other little bits that I do are. I mean, every little bit does help. I keep trying to remind myself that. Every little bit does help, but compared to the biochemical sculptures that we're doing, sculptors, whatever they are, if I could just amp those up further, that would be handy. But I can only do so much of those without basically putting down another whole factory of the same thing. Which, to be fair, I could probably have done by now. That said, I'm also doubling them all. And that means that I'm getting more efficiency out of it. I would need a lot more Somas loops to be able to double everything again. No way do I ever not... I build not on a nice flat... Yeah, most people put down foundations. I do out of necessity. Like here where I tried to put my coal plants down, it said, you know, surface is too uneven. So I am occasionally forced to use foundations. I usually cannot be bothered. It's a combination of laziness and chaotic aesthetic. Mostly the former. I don't like regular looking factories. This, despite it being completely industrial, it feels more organic in a way, in a twisted sense. And that's how I prefer it. I wish that you could more easily quantify how much was actually going into the awesome sinks and stuff as well in terms of value. And to be fair, the fact that I've got two pathways channeling into this is less efficient than if I've dumped these into a separate one, because they're being blocked down here, right? We can only go in so fast. Actually, I should try and pay attention. It'll be a while now. Oh, but I can kind of work out though that we're almost. Oh, we're getting a influx of sculptors right now. I think that's what keeps us here. One lot goes in there, and then we get a slight overlap with the next lot, and then it jumps up further. We're just over halfway, so I think it's close to 10 million points per coupon now, which is a slight problem. Yep, we're getting another little bump. That might have been some of the quantum stuff. Might have been the little bump. Now we're waiting for a big of these. Build a few of these for overflow. Yeah, I used to not. That's the problem. If I'd been doing this the whole time, I would be a lot more advanced on this. That said, it takes until the end game to really get the big bucks. So tick, tick, tick. We're almost there. Okay, 12 million. Okay, yeah. Oof. So my calculations are a little bit off because I was hoping that it was not going to go up that much. Because originally I was thinking, oh, it'll take another 4 hours or so. I think it's going to take a little bit longer than that now. Now, I originally looked online and it didn't look like increasing gift value for Fixmas items made any difference. Everything was just 1 point. That was the old wiki. It's not been updated. And it since appears that they do in fact make a difference. Interestingly, a blue ornament is 1, but that's because it's a 2 to 1. Red ornaments are 2. They use like iron or something, so you still end up net worse, I think. Tree branches are 2. Candy canes are 6. There are 3 to 1 instead of this, where it's a 5 to 2. So, and that's worth. So it's 5 to 10. So it's only with 2 per. So candy canes, I think, is better. This is real nerdy min-max rubbish at this point. And then bows are apparently worth 4, and there are 2 to 1. So it's a 2 to 4. So yeah, so it looks like candy canes might be the best. And what about snowballs? Where are snowballs? 30. Snowballs are 30? Oh, that uses the actual snow. Ah, okay. So that's how we can get a little bit of extra value. We can do actual snow and then snowballs. Alright. How many are we producing from here? It's 15 per. 45, 60, 75. 3 of these, potentially. Like, this is such a silly thing to even be caring about, but, you know. And then this needs to be... I think it's currently a Mark 3, so we'll keep it as Mark 3. And then we can just go Mark 1, Mark 1, Mark 1. Actual snow. Actual snow. Actual snow, take my gifts. So let's just bring this over here, just for funsies. This is a merger, right? Yeah. So if we have constructor facing this way, for argument's sake, snowballs, 15 per minute, so we need 2 of those. Cool. So then we go constructor. Ah, this is going to be nasty. So we need a merger and a splitter, right? Did they add a teleporter? No, there's no teleporter. I wish. Oh, no, they did actually. Yeah, in the final thing. I just haven't used it because it's way too... It's not worth it. You need to use like the singularity cells or something, and you need to keep a continued production of those just to keep them powered. Not worth it in my opinion. I don't use enough of the world to make it worth my while, put it that way. This is so silly. Everything to do with the Fixmas thing is silly, to be fair. This is especially silly. Then we're going to put a lifter on here so that we can have another merger on here. So we can do that, and then this. And then tell you to make snowballs, you to make snowballs, and for you to then be powered from this one. Okay. Okay, and theoretically that should be worth slightly more? If my maths is correct. If that's not true, then I've wasted my time, but so what else is new? And at the end of the day, it's not going to be impactful because it's such a minuscule amount to tick along. Oh, that's where the turbo motors went in. I love seeing where the turbo motors going. And now we're back to 5.5 to 7.9. And maybe we'll see. I mean, it's been tracking fairly consistently. It'll be interesting to see if the 5503 is now slightly higher after those minor adjustments. Ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Superstate computer. Okay, so we've still got quite a few things to get through, it seems. Superstate computer. Computers, electromagnetic rods, batteries, and wire. That seems like such a faff. It produces them slightly faster. That's the main advantage, I guess. The OC one is definitely the better design, though. Alright. We've only got 3 hard drives left, so we're not going to unlock every recipe, that's for sure. That's interesting to know. So, if we wanted to unlock every recipe, we'll have to go hunting for more hard drives. I'm wondering about whether to add additional manifold layers to this as well, though, so that I could save on some of all these power shards. So we can do that, and that, and then we do 1, 1, 1, because we're only going to be doing 15. And then we go... we're doing wire, right? Yeah, we're just doing wire. And then it's 30 and 30, so as soon as we get to this point, we need Mark 2 and Mark 2. So that's now 60 and 90. And then that's now like a Mark 5. That's even a Mark 2 for some reason, even though it doesn't need to be. Let's just make that a Mark 1. Good. We don't have the room to do the same thing over there necessarily, but we've saved ourselves another few power shards, which is nice. We can theoretically do the same thing here. I don't have quite enough space for it, so it's fine. No, it just feels bad triple over or double overclocking things. I never like triple overclocking things, that's for sure. Same sort of thing here. We could do the same. We've got a little bit more room, especially off this side if we wanted to. We could have a splitter and then 2 constructors at this point. And it'll be only 90, so it'll be, what, 22.5? Yeah. Cool. Give you those. So there'll be a little disruption to our production. Not the end of the world. And now you guys are underclocked instead of overclocked, saving me power and power shards. So that's lovely. You guys are also all double overclocked. Okay, and then you guys are, yeah, triple overclocked. That's really hideous. Okay, at this point then, I put in another foundry, right, and back it off, so we're only doing 90 per minute, and then we're just feeding 1 on 1. We don't even need to have the splitter here anymore. Surely. We just have a splitter off here instead. And then you were alloy ingot there. Yeah, you're going to need to be overclocked just slightly, unless I want to do the whole merge and split thing. Oh, I'm going to be using 2 regardless, so because we want 90 coming out, so you do that. And then we get rid of you and have you going straight out the back there. And then we need to have more power. Cool. And you no longer need to run at that rate, and you're just producing 90. And that's fine. What are you doing, actually? You're only a single overclock, that's fine. Still unnecessary, could, yeah, technically halve you as well. I mean, I could technically go up. Are you a merger? Presumably you are, right? Yeah, you're a merger. Because I should have you doing things like that before. We center it like this and do like that. Then we put... And we can deconstruct the foundations afterwards. It makes no difference. Oh, it doesn't even need that. It fits on a 1x1. Well now. Okay. That's even better, isn't it? And then have a lifter. How much is it going to be producing? It's going to be producing 90, so we need to have a... Unless we also put the constructor that it's going to be using on top. That's also true. So let's just do that. Then it doesn't matter. Then we just need to have a second merger on here, which is fine. And we can just have a constructor here, taking the output from here. And you are going to be doing this at a rate of 90 per minute. And then you are going to be making iron pipes at a rate of 22.5. So then you, goodbye, no longer as much. 90, bonk bonk, no longer as much. Okay, and that's exactly the same number, so still 45 each side, making 90 in total to provide 3 30s. Excellent. 3 30s, which could actually be 6 15s if we really wanted to, but that's where we start to get very crazy. I mean, it would be smart because, again, like, these are using more power and more power shards, and if I could double each of these, then that would also be useful. We just split off more and more different ways. Yeah, we can just do that there. And then do that there straight away. Splitter on, coming in that direction. Coming across all the way from there into here, because it needs to be 80 total, doesn't it? Yes, it needs to be 80 total. And then, yeah, you go up here to go over this way in order to feed into that side. So the pipes go in this side, and you are making stators. And you're just making them at a normal rate of 5 per minute, because we no longer need to make you at 10 per minute. And yeah, I've not left myself enough space to be able to do the same thing with both of these, I don't think. Or I could with this guy at this point, right? And put another assembler down here. And just have a splitter. And then you get rid of that. Splitter coming in that way, there, coming there, and there. Lovely. You make stators at a normal rate and output into the merger at the bottom there anyway. Perfect. I haven't left myself enough room for that one, and he couldn't merge anything anyway. Back that off. Oh, it's actually only 40 per coming in when it's not overclocked anyway, isn't it? So, should be the same net result. Everything should still be balanced. We're just more efficient about how we're doing it, just taking up more space. Here, technically, we could put in 3 foundries. We could theoretically do 3 foundries and save ourselves another power shard, but then we would have to do some more merge and split shenanigans. Ideally, you do all your production, and then you split, and then you do all of your generation and then production. But also, if you can separate it out and have like 1 for 1, that's kind of nice because it's insulated then. No, I don't care that much. That's the thing, as soon as I think of it, it's like, oh yeah, that would be better. It would be better. I can't be bothered. That's interesting, we no longer have a plateau. We've got a spike instead. It dips down to about, yeah, 5462, then up to the 7915. That's interesting. I mean, all of that messing around, we didn't actually gain anything. We spent a lot of time to gain some power shards, so we can overclock things if we want to in future, but no actual real input. Ma'am, you're finished, right? Rubber concrete, I always laugh at that. And dark iron fuel, that's a new unpackaged rocket fuel. And dark matter crystals to become ionized fuel. That's actually really good, because normally ionized fuel requires power shard production, which is a pain in the ass. This power shard production requires all sorts of things. That said, I mean, you know, creates 5 per minute. I do have a line on all of those things. I could just make those if I wanted to. Yeah, that is an interesting thing. So that way, instead of consuming the power shards to make the ionized fuel, that's the key point, is you kind of cut out a middleman because you use the dark matter regardless. And then you just have to package the rocket fuel for some reason. I guess it needs the aluminium from the thing. You don't need to worry about unpackaging things, so there's that. If I could package that up, ooh, that would be nice. I would need to have a regular delivery of packaging. It's annoying that you can't get a higher tier of fuel generator that uses it. It's the same tier of generator, and the power it produces is capped. It just uses less of the fuel that you put in. But that's if you're making 200 per minute of this fuel, and it's not using as much of it, you need more power plants. And it just takes over the world. And it's kind of silly. It would be nice if there was a higher tier of power plant, or the fuel that you put in affected the power output instead of the efficiency, like it always used 15 units of power each time. But the amount of power that it produced changed based on what you gave it. I would have preferred that. Alright, how many have we got? We've got... oh, almost 750. We're almost 3/4 of the way there. I don't think we're going to do it today after all, unfortunately. But we are coming closer than I was fearing at one point. How are you going? There's still tons of electromagnetic beams in here. We don't go through them fast enough. Even though we're yeah, ticking away. Oh, you ran out of rubber again. Ooh, everything's running out of rubber again. At least you've got a container, so you're insulating yourself there. Ah, that's not good for our cable production either, but we are insulated for that now that we've got a separate dedicated production. Oh, maybe we drop you down again, because you were at 50%, but then I bumped you up to cover my cable needs. But now I have a dedicated production up here of another 60 per minute at least. And now we've got a bit more of a backlog forming. I wonder why we ran out of rubber. Probably because I've been producing turbo motors more steadily, yeah. Yeah. It was only coping because you kept backing up because you kept running out of motors. Okay. Let's go visit our turbo fuel base because we need rubber. I'm going to ignore the MAM for now. There's one over there anyway. Doink. I like that I just managed to clear. Oop, I almost didn't press spacebar in time. I like how I managed to just clear my refinery. Extra rubber, and then the one up here should be even better because it's like a smart splitter, I think. Good. This is a good base to come to for extra things like that. The packaged turbo fuel is doing quite well. Oh, this is just a normal splitter. It's not even a smart splitter. It's just producing it faster. Yeah, the polymer resin. I could be doing something with that. Pretty sure. I think just like fabric or something. Well, let's get this rubber back to base first, like priorities. Because I can't have, especially the heavy modular frames, I can't have them running out. It was funny how unimpactful it felt after putting all of this stuff down. So it doesn't really feel like it did much for me, but I'm fairly sure it did something. I'll take a few of these quartz crystals back to keep my crystal oscillator happy. I mean, it is hard to be happy about your production at the small scale when you've got things producing millions of points otherwise. Hard drive, cooling device and coke steel ingots. Okay, so that's using nitrogen motors and heat sinks instead of rubber and water and heat sinks. Huh. And it makes less. Fewer. Interesting. That doesn't seem useful. Coated iron plate and heat exchanger. Oh, this is an old classic. Okay, well, we'll just take that one. And last hard drive that I have on me, and well, I've seen more alternates than I have hard drives for, so I guess I should go scouting for more if I really care about that. I don't know, I'm curious. I am interested in what the other alternate recipes are. At the same time, it's not really my priority right now. Let's go wet some concrete or something. So we can bring the limestone down to the water's edge and then make stuff and then sink it. So where's the deposit? Somewhere up here, apparently. Oh yeah, I see it. Okay, so you apparently are pure. Alright. So then I guess I should check ratios of things and like the quantities that things need. So if I just stick a refinery down here, we've currently got water pumps on the other side just going off to coal power. If we put in a refinery here, 120 and 100 per minute makes 80 per minute concrete. Whoa. That's a lot. Compared to what I have been dealing with, that is so much. That is so good. I should have done this a long time ago to feed my concrete. Mark 3 feels excessive, especially since that a Mark 3 requires a bunch of turbo motors to produce, which just does not, 3 turbo, 5 supercomputers for crying out loud. It's so stupid. This, a little bit more responsible in terms of its power usage. Yeah, 240 per minute. We can just do that as well, just for fun. 480. So let's do that and crank you and start bringing the belts. So what was it? There was 120. So we need 4. And 400 water. And each of these is, I think, 120? Yeah. Okay. These I might overclock. Because I'm limited in the space that I can deal with. We're going to have to manifold this as well because each pipe can only do 300. I can do Mark 2s, to be fair. Maybe this is the time that I actually do Mark 2s for a change. I don't need to. It's fine. There. Good. Brilliant. And then lift a Mark 3 facing this way. Lift the Mark 3 facing this way, and facing this way, and then splitter facing that way. There we go. Junctions. Going there. Going there. And technically not necessary, but we'll put another one in anyway. Okay. Their power points are all at this side, I think? Where are they? Yes, they're all at this side. So you come over here and then spring along to there. And then you come over here in order to power. Let's get you going first. And then we can bring the second one in this point. Just have it going straight in like that. Actually, no. Actually, we want it to come in at this point. And we want to have a valve going, no, valve, that way. So scroll in order to change direction. We want it only pumping that way, thank you very much. I don't really care which way around it goes, but sure, we'll do that. And just in case, we'll do another one at that point there as well. Not to regulate it, just to check the flow. And then we go Mark 5, bang, and then bang. Love how it just appears as soon as it finishes. And then we'll just do Mark 3 for these two. This is so much concrete. This is crazy. And then we want to have a merger So you're making 80, so we're going to have to do Mark 2, Mark 2, Mark 2, Mark 2, Mark 3, and then adding a dedicated sink is kind of annoying because it's another 30 megawatts, but we just do that. And then have a Mark 5 going in there. There you go. And power it would help. We could intercept from here. Do that one. There you go. Zoom. It's not much. What does concrete even give me? I don't know. It's not much. If we could make encased beams out of it, that would be so much more useful, wouldn't it? But we're making a ton of it. Concrete is 12 per. 12 per as opposed to limestone is 2. So we've got it's a 6-to-4 ratio or a 3-to-2 ratio. So it's a 4 times increase. Okay, so it's quadrupling through this recipe. So that's alright then. That's fine. So it's quadrupling in value. 8 times 4, 240 times 12. Well, if it was 120 12s, it would be 1440, so it's 2880 per minute. Again, not to be sneezed at. We've got a pretty flat baseline now, because we stopped overclocking the sculptors. Interesting how that made such a difference. We're missing out on some big spikes, but it was unsustainable, so... Was that worth the effort for an extra 3,000 points per minute? You decide. Alright, I think we have our final hard drive. Yes. And it's this old tat. None of this is interesting to me. Recycled plastic's kind of useful, I guess. Coke steel ingots, they use petroleum coke to make more steel instead of the usual just normal coal. I mean, if you happen to have coal, or iron rather, nearby oil, then I guess that is kind of nice. So, yeah, we'll actually take that. And that's all our hard drives gone. We do not have more. So we would have to scout to find more alternate recipes, unfortunately. So that's our sort of discovery nipped in the bud. So we're ticking along at pretty much 5.5 million per minute. We've only just started the new one, really, and it's over 12 million. Based on that, it's hard to tell exactly where it would have been, but probably around the, I don't know, what do you reckon, 15 million or something per? So that means it's 3 minutes per coupon now. And I still need over 200, so that's over 600 minutes per, well, for the total. And that's 10 hours, ladies and gentlemen. We are not going to be finishing this anytime soon. It's going to be a background game, not an idle game as such. I'm going to still need to just pop my head in and just do a little resource round of... what is it that I really have to do? It's supercomputers, computers, drop off computers, half supercomputers, pick up assembly directors, move them over there, and then move the rest of the supercomputers over there, and then go to the other base to go and collect any excess plastic and rubber, go to the other base, the blender base, to get any cooling systems and aluminium. 3 different things that I need to do. Maybe I should build more drones. I've been very stingy. I have 1 drone because it has to go so far, and I've been very stingy otherwise. Maybe it's time to build another drone base. Then I have to do fuel. I'm making turbo fuel over at the power base though, so I guess I could use that. Oh no, using fuel for its intended purpose. Whatever is wrong with me. It's a long road, turns out. They really made it quite punishing. And yes, it would have been better if I had done things like my massive concrete plant, for example, that I just did, and my stator production that I just did, if I'd done those much earlier, it would definitely have helped me. But the numbers that you need, a few thousand here and there, aren't going to cut it. What you really need to do is paralyze your space elevator production earlier, so I could have kept more things all running in tandem instead. But I didn't, and I was never going to do that. I like having our little pocket base instead of sprawling endlessly across foundations as far as the eye can see. Merry Fixmas, everyone, and best wishes for a new year, and at some point in the new year, hopefully a golden nut will be ours. But until then, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you later.